Hey, what is going on, guys? Rules for Rebels here, coming back at you with episode 30 of Side Hustle Thursdays. Now, I'm really sorry. I realize today is Friday. I realize I'm a bit late in getting this posted. Long story short, about a week ago, man, I fell asleep on the couch with like my head totally crooked at like a 90-degree angle, and just been having a lot of neck and back problems ever since then. I went to a chiropractor a few days ago, and whatever she did to me messed me up even worse than before. So this entire past week, I can barely turn my head, barely keep my head up, and the past couple of days I've been getting home, taking a muscle relaxer after I got home from the office, and just passing out until the next morning. So I'm finally feeling a little bit better today. Figured I'd get this episode out. I figured a day late is better than never, but I apologize for being late on Side Hustle Thursdays. So let's get into it, guys. Today's episode and today's story is about a resale hustle. Resale's a really hot thing right now. Well, it's a bit more work and not quite as passive as, say, private labeling or importing. It's a great way to make money, and I think I would even go to say that it's much more beginner-friendly than importing or private labeling. So if you know how to drive to the store and if you know how to put up an eBay listing, you can start a business like this today. It's really something that any one of you can do. So rather than having to navigate the complicated process of finding an Alibaba seller, negotiating your deal, dealing with customs and importing, and then creating your own Amazon listing, sending your stuff into FBA, resale simply involves going to garage sales, estate sales, Goodwill stores, and even stores like Ross, Marshalls, and Burlington Coat Factory, looking for deals, looking for products there that are cheaper than they're selling for on eBay and or Amazon. If you guys want to check out YouTube, there's actually a lot of great resellers on there who are sharing tips and tricks. I can't remember his name, but there's one guy I found actually on Steemit the other day, and I followed him over and followed his YouTube channel. Also, Glenn from Hustler Hacks. He's really into like the Marshalls and Ross and Burlington Coat Factory hustling. One thing about resale that makes it tougher to scale is the sourcing and the product listing. So for example, if you sell tree hammocks and tree hammock straps, once you find your supplier, the sourcing process is pretty much simply reordering. You always have the same inventory, so there's no need to create a new listing or research your product category, as you've already done all that, and you're selling a consistent product over and over. With resale, on the other hand, you're finding items at Goodwill, garage sales, estate sales. The process of sourcing is a never-ending one, meaning you're always working. You also need to stay on top of what types of items are selling so that you can continue to buy the right items. And every item you buy, you then need to further research before you go to list it to find out like what keywords, what price you should sell it for, etc. Something I find is that people who are into resale, while it's a business, it's also for a lot of them almost a hobby. They actually enjoy the process of going out and finding treasures and looking for items and things like that. So I think to some extent, you're going to have to enjoy the process. You're going to have to be somebody who enjoys going garage sailing and finding interesting finds and things like that. Now, one thing you'll find with resale is that many people find a particular niche or category and stick to it. Some people may focus on vintage toys. Others may focus on vintage Polaroid cameras. Others, like Glenn from Hustler Hacks, focus on stores like Ross and look for popular like sneakers, basketball jerseys, and things along those lines. Now, I think in large part the reason for this is because if you stay in your lane and if you know your product category, you know, it's going to be more work finding out what the hottest vintage toy is this week, and then finding out what old Polaroid cameras people buy, and then finding out what type of kids' clothes people buy, as opposed to just like staying in your lane. You know, Glenn knows basketball shoes, so he knows what's hot, he knows what's coming out, and he knows what sells. And you're not always having to research and stay on top of different product categories. So today's story involves a woman who dabbled in a bit of everything but focuses on boys' shoes. Today's story is about Maria from Chicago. Maria was a single mother with 3 kids. She had a decent job working for the United States Postal Service. It paid fairly well, and she was typically able to pick up an overtime shift every Saturday, which paid even more. Maria was a good mom and wanted her kids to have the best, so she enrolled them in sports and extracurricular activities. She bought them iPads and Xboxes. Buying all this stuff, however, meant that she had to work more, which in turn made her feel more guilty for not spending time with them, which in turn made her buy them more stuff, which in turn made her work more and spend less time with them. And it was really kind of a vicious cycle. Well, one day when Maria and the kids were cleaning their rooms, she realized how many old clothes and old shoes they had that didn't fit them anymore. She decided to list some of the boys' old shoes on eBay. She listed them for around $20, and every last pair of shoes sold out within 48 hours. Now, she had bought these shoes new, so she paid a pretty pretty penny for them, so she didn't get all her money back, but she recouped a portion of it. This got her thinking, though. She would always see kids' brand name shoes and clothes at garage sales selling for as little as a quarter, maybe a couple dollars at most. Kids grow out of their shoes so fast that half the time they look brand new even after they've outgrown them, so Maria had an idea. She started hitting up local garage sales as well as Goodwill stores and buying up any brand name kids' shoes she came across. She found the sweet spot was anywhere from babies to about 10-year-old kids. She was typically paying less than $3 for a pair of shoes, sometimes as little as a quarter, and selling them for anywhere from $20 to $50 and making a pretty good profit doing it. So within a few weeks, Maria was making over $500 per month doing this, and it just about matched what she was making picking up an extra Saturday shift at the post office. The best part about it was she had her kids in tow while doing her sourcing, and while they would occasionally whine as kids do, normally picking up a dollar toy at a garage sale for them got them excited about the sourcing expeditions as well. Now at this point, Maria has been doing this for a few months. Money is consistently rolling in. She gets to spend more time with her kids, and while this most likely won't scale into $1 million endeavor, it fits the bill for what she needs. So getting into the whole reselling thing, it is ideal and critical that you find the right category to work in. I'm sure a lot of you, if not most of you, have sold some items on eBay before. Many of you may think you have a product that would fly off the shelves, it's competitively priced, and you may even think to yourself, if I needed one of these, this price would be a steal, but nonetheless, it just doesn't sell. It may sit for weeks or even months. There's some products and product categories that sell consistently well on eBay, even if you're a new eBay seller with not a lot of feedback and not a lot of sales rank. And for Maria, she was lucky enough to stumble upon this category pretty much right off the bat and did well even as a new eBay seller. So what lessons can we take away from this side hustle? Well, first, not every business or every side hustle needs to be something that can scale into a huge business. Many people are quite satisfied making a couple extra bucks to fill the gap between their paycheck and whatever need they have. Some people may just want to earn a couple $100 to put into a retirement home, to put into retirement savings, or maybe plan for an upcoming vacation. Not everybody is looking to leave their day job or make millions of dollars. Now, this could be a great, when I say this, I'm talking about, reselling. This could be a great hustle for you if you're just getting started and this is your first business venture, because it's pretty simple. This could be a great hustle for you if you're someone who enjoys garage sales, estate sales, storage auctions, and just generally product sourcing in general. And for some people, the hunt is almost as fun, if not more fun, than actually making the money. And that's something that I can relate to. Back when I was doing the storage auctions, I was making money off it. And yeah, that was the #1 goal, was making money. But, a lot of times I would, I enjoy vintage items and finding cool stuff and researching the history behind products. And a lot of times stuff I would find in storage auctions, I actually enjoyed going through all the stuff and what am I going to find next? And it almost was like a treasure hunt. So in addition to being a way to make money, I also kind of enjoyed, the process of looking for items and the process of finding these treasures. And occasionally I would even keep something for myself. Anyhow, guys, that's today's side hustle. I really like this one as it's really doable. Literally any one of you guys could do this. You could get started with it today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's side hustle and today's story. I hope you found it inspirational. And until next time, this is Rules for Rebels, signing off.